Welcome to Digital 100. I'm your host Patrick Wagner, and this is episode number 7. And I'm going to talk to you about VPNs. I'm going to stop doing that stuff with my hands soon because I think we're coming to the tail end of some of the basic operational security stuff that everyone should have. And today we're going to talk about VPNs, virtual private networks. Do you actually need one? Why use one? And does it really help? So let's get started with that. So do you need a VPN? Why use one? How does it help? And learn how your IP can be used to find you. So do you need a VPN for real? And the answer is no. I think a lot of people sell it as everyone needs a VPN out there, or it's impossibly safe to go out there and be online without a VPN anymore. But the list is growing larger and larger for those who do need it. So let's go to the right side there and you can see. So if you use any public Wi-Fi, any free hotspots, you must be on a VPN. If you're traveling abroad, you must be on a VPN. If you're a remote worker, you probably already use a VPN when you log into your company's corporate websites and all your different back-end utilities, as well as students, political dissidents, reporters. Anybody involved in cryptocurrency should be using a VPN. Anyone concerned about their privacy in general, both from ISPs, FCC, and other three-lettered organizations, governmental organizations. Anyone looking to cover their tracks or their web surfing in general. So depending if you're doing stuff in the gray area or if you're doing some nefarious activities or whether you're simply surfing your choice of pornography and you don't want it to be used against you, a VPN is going to help you protect what you're surfing and what you're looking at. So why do hackers want your IP address? That's a great question. I don't think people understand that one enough. So it's really just a bunch of numbers. There's no real value. I included a really great web resource here called ipinfo.io. And I'll show you an example of that after this, but basically you can get a lot of good information. It's not going to be enough to totally access your system or change the game, but it does give me the city or country, approximate location or area, let's say suburb via GPS coordinates, your ISP provider, and through your ISP provider, there's a possibility to get a name, address, and billing information via a customer assignment database that some of them hold using the IP address. That IP address, we could also find out if you're using a mobile network carrier and what mobile network that is, so we can work back and use that information. So here's an example of one. So you type in your IP address and you can see all the information provided there. So it does give you quite a bit of insight. It doesn't, like I said, it doesn't unlock and make you totally accessible, but it does give whoever's looking at you greater insight and greater information. So when I go to, let's go back here. If I go to try to hack you, it makes sense that I know what city you live in. So when I call your ISP and say, I forgot some information, reset the password, and they tell me, well, what city do you live in? What's your address? What's some other information critical? I'll be able to use this information to build that profile. So will a VPN ensure I avoid getting hacked? Does a VPN make me safe from hackers? No, but it does make you much less of a target to them and others. And so that's the tough one. A VPN is really just encrypting the traffic from point A to point B. But the reality is, if you have malware installed on your system ready, it's able to use that VPN to send traffic. So if your computer is not secure, the VPN is not going to change it from security. But if you're under a VPN, your IP address is not known. So that protection element also helps prevent people who are going to try to access and hammer through your IP address. So having the incorrect one, they end up hacking the system provider that you're using for your VPN instead of trying to hack your computer or your router and trying to make their way in that way. So you are setting up a bit of a moat for protection. So why avoid free Wi-Fi hotspots without a VPN? Sorry. Why should I avoid free Wi-Fi? So everything has a price and nothing is free. All your actions, web traffic, and passwords are visible via Wi-Fi network when you sign on. So some can also access your files depending on the settings of your computer. So when you sign on to a Wi-Fi, depending on your computer setup, it may treat that Wi-Fi network as friendly and therefore open up your network access, your file access, or some shared file access. So most free Wi-Fis are not secure, they're not as updated, they can be easily hacked, or they can be turned into these types of threats. So when you log into a free Wi-Fi, it might ask for a password so they can give you a chance to win something. They then have your email address, and then they send you an email confirmation, and then they'll send you different phishing scams pretending to be your bank or a bank, and then asking you to change your password, and all of those things kind of start from there. So anytime you're giving out free information, realize that those are moments that are most likely being taken advantage of. So if you are using free Wi-Fi, use a VPN app. You can add that to your mobile device, you can add it to your laptop, and you can be safe everywhere you go. So let's go over the top options for protecting your internet access and security. So I picked these three. There are many out there, so please do your own research. Check out all the VPN options and pick the one that's best for you. I just went over some of the top options here. First one is private internet access, then NordVPN, then ExpressVPN. So basically the criteria that I looked at is, first one is, do they keep logs of your traffic? In this case, NordVPN does not, private internet access does not, ExpressVPN does not keep logs, but it does keep access. If you read their privacy agreement, it says they log the day you actually log into their systems and how much traffic you use, so that they know the date, time, where you're logging in from, and they mark that in their system. But past that, they don't log anything else. So, that's on the line there, but that's why they deserve this nice red X. Next is encryption. So ExpressVPN provides the highest level of encryption. Then there's NordVPN, and then private internet access. This again depends on how quick you want your access as well, and the necessity for such high levels of encryption as well. So next, but very important, is where are they located? So private internet access loses large on this one because they're located in the US. And because of the different laws that allow the US to access that private internet data from them because they're located in the US, makes them a service that's not as private as you'd like. NordVPN does a great job by being in Panama, and ExpressVPN is in British Virgin Islands, which is also a great safe jurisdiction. Next is a number of countries you can connect to. And this means that your IP address and where you're coming out of is that country. So it's 24 for private internet access, 49 for NordVPN, and 87 for ExpressVPN. Next is how many devices you can use. In this case, private internet access was 5, NordVPN 1 with 6 devices, and ExpressVPN was 3. So that's simultaneous devices. So if you're using it and setting it up, let's say on a router, or having multiple people in a family using it, or even yourself, you just have it on your computer at home and your mobile device and a tablet, it starts to add up. The last one was just shared and dedicated IP addresses. NordVPN was the only one that provided that. An important feature for individuals who are looking for even more enhanced security. So at this point, my recommendation is NordVPN, and it's the one that I use as well, and I'll provide a link in the description below. If you have any questions, reach out to me as well. I haven't had any problems with it, and I quite enjoy it. So next is where to install your VPN. So you can select devices, you can do a router, or turn on when you need it. So the software-based VPNs are great because you can run it on your desktop. but it does take up some of your CPU energy to run that software while it's doing everything else. So depending on the quality of your computer, the software-based thing may cause you some problems. The device-based is, you know, for your mobile device, you can install an app. On the software side, you can also encode specific devices to log into the VPN automatically on your computer. And the last one is the router, where you can actually purchase a separate router, which is what I recommend. And I run a separate router that is using a VPN, so all traffic through that router goes through the NordVPN, which I have set up. And it's very easy to set up your router. I was actually incredibly surprised how easy it was to connect your VPN onto the router and therefore make all your traffic secure on that router. So at my house, I end up having a router for the family devices and then a separate router that I use for my mining rigs, any crypto computer access that I do, as well as any of my business mobile and crypto mobile devices go through the VPN router and never touch anything that's like what I would consider public Wi-Fi at this point. So I recommend routers if you have the money. The router takes the bulk of the effort, so your computers don't have to worry about that. I also was worried that it would really slow down my internet access on certain things. So I did test it with YouTube and streaming services, and I was really happily surprised that it was not that dramatic. Like years ago when I tested VPNs out, it was so slow that you really couldn't stream anything on them. It was useless. You really could only do certain types of internet work using a VPN. So that's changed. The easiest is install the software on your computer, turn it on, and you're safe. You can pick countries that you want to come out of. The other one is put a one on your mobile device, and the router option is it's going to cost you probably $100 to $150 for the router, and a quick install on there is really just putting your username and password and access there, and it's pretty much good to go. I probably will do a video on that because I found it to be something that's so useful and easy to do that I think it's something that everyone should have set up. I'm in the process of setting up a mini router with all of these VPN settings so that when I'm traveling I can just plug it in and know that all my internet access is covered with my VPN as well. So next episode, we're going to cover encrypting your data. Learn how to encrypt your data for safety and security. So this is one of the next steps before we can actually start doing some interesting and fun stuff. We need to encrypt our data, and any data you have encrypted on your computer protects it from hackers and malicious softwares that might be on your computer that are looking for this data. So we're going to go over that, and I think that's going to be exciting and lots of good information on the next video about that. Thanks very much, everyone. Have a great day.